Hello everyone! Welcome to ACE ESL. In this video, I'll share with you the application process at Bizmates. So if you're interested to know how they hire their trainers, or if you're planning to apply and you just want to know or have an idea of the steps that you'll go through, then this is the video for you. So to those of you who's not familiar with Bizmates, they are, according to their website, the #1 online business English school in Japan. And Bizmates is continuously hiring home-based English trainers from anywhere around the world. And if you want to know more about the requirements, you can check out my other video, How to Qualify as a Trainer at Bizmates. Okay? And now, if you feel that you're qualified, then let's talk about the hiring process. There are 5 phases in their application process. First is the application, second, English test, third, the interview, fourth, video training, and fifth, the demo lesson. And let's get into it one by one. Okay, so let's go to step 1, application. Here you can either go to their webpage or Facebook page to apply. You simply click the Apply Now button in their webpage or the Sign Up button in their Facebook page to register. And you will be asked for your name and email address. And right away, or if not in just a few minutes, you'll receive the confirmation email that will look like this. Okay, once you click the orange button, you'll see this page and then this page. So you just tick whatever applies to you. If you tick resident of the Philippines, you'll see this page. You can tick all the yes buttons for now because all these requirements can be accomplished once you're already hired and decide to work for the company. This is just a heads up that you will need a TIN number, BPI account, or register as a professional. But you don't need to worry about all these things. And Bizmates has a very strong trainer support, so once you get hired, someone will actually get in touch with you to explain what you need to do and how to go about the BIR process. So it's not really as hard as it sounds. Now, if you tick not a resident of the Philippines, you'll see this page. So here you have the option to receive the payment through your bank or PayPal. Right, and after that, you will then now be routed to the personal information page. Here you will be asked about your birthday, your gender, mobile phone, emergency contact number, your primary internet service provider, and if you are connected to a DSL or LAN cable. You actually have to have a DSL or LAN cable connection because during the interview, you will actually be asked to share your screen to the interviewer, and this is one of those things that they will look for in your screen. Okay, so then next we go to education and work experience. So here they will ask for your college degree, years of work experience, which industry you worked for, and if you have an online teaching experience. Now, if you're a college graduate, you have to have at least 3 years of working experience in any field. And if you are an undergraduate, you must have at least 3 years of work experience in the relevant field. After that, we go to the next page, which is the teaching availability. Here you will be asked about your available working hours. In my case, I ticked all: early morning, early evening, and late evening. Because since I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I don't really know exactly what time I'll be available to work, and my time is quite flexible, so I decided to tick everything. And during the interview, I was actually asked about this one, and so I had to explain to the interviewer that since I'm a stay-at-home mom, I can teach in the morning or afternoon or in the evening depending on whenever I'm available, so I cannot really pick a fixed schedule, and he accepted that reason. Okay, then we go to the last one, which is how you learned about Bizmates. It's a drop down, so you can just pick your choice, and then we're done for the first part. And right away, we'll go to step number 2, which is the English test. It's actually very short. You don't need to be an English expert for this test. You have to keep in mind though that your foundation in the English language will be assessed here, so let's try to wow them. And the first part of this test is the grammar check. Here, there are 15 questions that needs to be answered, and let's answer them one by one. So, number 1, whose files are these? They're mine. Number 2, I cannot blank the boss's speech any further. It's barely 10 sentences long. I cannot shorten the boss's speech any further. It's barely 10 sentences long. Number 3, but they blank be away. I just saw them this morning. But they can't be away. I just saw them this morning. Number 4, how did the vase in the lobby blank shattered? How did the vase in the lobby became shattered? Number 5, she's from blank, so she speaks blank. She's from Spain, so she speaks Spanish. Number 6, this office is blank, but also blank. This office is bigger, but also more expensive. Number 7, I wouldn't say that to the boss if I blank you. I wouldn't say that to the boss if I were you. Number 8, where blank you at 3 p.m. yesterday? Where were you at 3 p.m. yesterday? Number 9, I've already called our supplier 4 times blank. I've already called our supplier 4 times yesterday. Number 10, where blank he work? Where does he work? Number 11, the book blank by Brian Tracy. The book was written by Brian Tracy. Number 12, has Bill blanked to the client who called earlier? Has Bill gotten back to the client who called earlier? Number 13, blank are you having lunch with? I'm having lunch with Yuko. So who are you having lunch with? I'm having lunch with Yuko. Number 14, you can borrow my textbook blank tomorrow. You can borrow my textbook until tomorrow. And number 15, he blank ever works as blank as he should. He hardly ever works as hard as he should. And that's it for the grammar check. So now we move on to the next part. The second part of the English test is the short answer. Here there's only one question to answer and you need to answer it in 50 to 100 words only, so it doesn't have to be long. And the question here is, how can working from home contribute to your personal and or professional growth? So this is a very interesting question because it's very timely. So I'm sure you have a lot of good things in your mind. If I were to answer this question, I would probably say, as a mother, working from home is the most ideal setup for me. It gives me the chance to contribute to my family financially while practicing the skills I learned from my years of experience at the comforts of my home. Being able to work for a reputable company with professional colleagues will not only foster good relationships, but also warrants a long and meaningful partnership for the company, employees, and clients. Okay, so that's what I can think of right now, and I hope you also share your answers in the comment section below. And now we go to the third part of the English test, which is the voice recording. And there's only one question here that you need to answer in 30 to 60 seconds. You also need to make sure that your microphone is functioning well. And the question is, what kind of challenges do you think ESL learners face? And I'd probably say, with the increase of online English schools these days, ESL learners are faced with the challenge of looking for the best and the one that matches their preference and budget. So being able to find a company they prefer who offers an excellent standards of teaching at a reasonable price is like finding a needle in a haystack. And that's about it for the English test. And by the way, the questions may change periodically. These are the questions right now if you apply. These are not the questions I got when I applied and was hired. So the answers I gave are mere suggestions. Okay, it's still best to rely on your good judgment. Now let's go to the third part, which is the interview. Once you pass the English test, congratulations! You will get an email with your username and password for booking your interview in their portal. And here's one tip. If you log in the portal in the middle of the day, you'll never book a slot. It will always be fully booked, right? So you have to book your slot at an ungodly hour, meaning right after midnight. You have to be a little sly on this because there are a lot of applicants booking a slot for the interview. I booked a slot around 12:05 or 12:10 in the morning, and I usually get a slot that's still convenient for me. So I hope that'll work for you too. And okay, so after you book your interview, you'll get a confirmation email with some instructions. So you just need to make sure that your Skype ID is correct, you're connected to a high-speed wired internet during the interview, you're using a desktop or laptop, you have the latest version of Skype, you have a headset with a microphone, preferably with noise cancellation. But if you're going to hold classes in a quiet place, then I don't think that's necessary. You should have a webcam and you're at a quiet and well-lit area. You also need to have a white background and of course dressed professionally. So the interview will be in two parts. First is the technical check, where the interviewer will check your white background, headset with microphone, your speed test result, and you'll also be asked to share your screen so they can check your internet connection. Alright? In here, they still can consider if you don't have a wired connection. Okay, but it will be noted and checked again during your final demo lesson. And also in this part, you'll have the Q&A portion. The questions will vary depending on the interviewer. So it's very important to let your true self shine through. What will matter here is your communication skills and your positive attitude. Then after that, we went to the second part of the interview, which is the short demo lesson. Here you'll be given 2 minutes to prepare and 5 minutes for the demo. You'll also be given a scenario and instructions to teach expressions and refine sentences while utilizing the chat box. But since I don't have a teaching experience, of course, I failed in this part. But I was given a chance to proceed to the next step because probably the interviewer saw how motivated I was. I also answered his questions the best way I can, and I promised him that I'll do better in the final demo. And so he reconsidered. That's why I'm very grateful for that. The whole interview process only took about 25 minutes. You'll actually know that you passed the interview because the interviewer will tell you about it, and they will also give you guidelines on what to do next. You'll also get a confirmation email like this, confirming that you passed the interview. This was sent to me within minutes after the interview, and it says here that you have 3 days to begin video training, so it's all up to you when you want to begin the training. So now we go to step number 4. In the video training, you need to watch videos of different topics, but you have to pay attention because you'll need to answer some questions after each video. These are not hard questions, actually very easy questions, but it's all related to the video. So if you haven't paid attention to the video, then you wouldn't be able to answer the questions. And the videos are actually very helpful, especially when you start teaching, because it will give you a lot of tips on how to increase your vocabulary. So it's worth your time and effort. While you're doing the video training, or even before you start doing the video training, you can already book for a demo lesson. And as I mentioned earlier, you have to book around midnight to get a slot. But you have to make sure that you're already finished with the video training before your demo lesson, because the facilitator will check your answers and make sure that you've already finished. Otherwise, you cannot proceed to the demo lesson if you're still not finished with the video training. You don't also need to finish the video training in one shot. You can always take a break and just go back to it whenever you're ready. Once you're done, you're now ready for the last step, which is the demo lesson. Now, this is the final step, and at this stage, you need to teach according to the methodology of Bizmates, or at least try to follow their lesson flow. A day or two before your demo, your facilitator will send you the materials so you can read through that and familiarize it, especially if you don't have a teaching experience like me. And in that case, they'd most likely let you do the simplest one. And at this last stage, of course, I failed again. Fortunately, it's a different interviewer, and for the demo lesson, they give two chances. But I didn't need to book a slot anymore for the retake. The facilitator rescheduled it for me, and luckily, the second time I passed. I can say that it still wasn't perfect. It wasn't what I was aiming for, but good enough for me to get through. So my overall experience was very meaningful. That's why I paid them back by being a diligent teacher. And because of that, I'm able to retain regular students up until now. And that also helped me become an assessor in a little over a month. As an assessor, I can teach any time of the day and I can accept trial lessons as well. So that greatly improved my performance and my salary, of course. There you go. So that's my experience here at Bizmates. So I hope I was able to answer some of your questions, and please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.